Hey guys, it's me. Friday. Are everybody happy about Friday? My name is Ruowen Huang. I am an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Before we start our topic today, I thought I'd correct myself because I made some mistake yesterday. My husband told me he live in poor, not poverty. You know, they just tight on money. They don't have to worry about where the next meal is going to be. And I say, oh, my bad, I will correct it. But 1 second later, I say, oh, I guess it wasn't you, it was me then. Because my mom always disappears, so we really don't know where our next meal is gonna be. But anyway, we survived this far, so we're still good. So today I thought I'd talk about handling the psychic child. Psychic child is, you know, your kids might be sensitive. They might sense things that you are not able to explain, you know, or they might see things that you are not able to see. You will see this trend happen way more often now, or start to notice it happen way more often now, because we are entering a generation of awareness that we are aware of things, right? Because that is supposed to be the foundation of how universe function. We're supposed to be aware of things. That's why you will also notice, like, the reason why information seems to have a way to transfer from place A to B so fast, because due to that fast information that we receive and things like that, the younger generation will have a quicker response time. Right. So to cope with that, they will also have to have awareness. Right. So now that's why, since a friend was asking me how she should handle her psychic child, it seems like her child see things or afraid of things or do things that they cannot explain. Right. And they sometimes don't know how to cope with it. Right. I mean, in our mentality, like older generation, we would just say, oh, don't worry about it, they don't exist, and things like, or just try to tell them, you know, it's not there, right? Now I'm trying to tell you that they might not be the best way to cope with child, because what it does is actually confuse the child's sensation. Like when I was a kid, I see things, right? So it's like, okay, I see a phone here, I will see a phone here, and then when I tell like assuming this phone is a ghost, so it's right here in my eyes. And when I try to tell adult tell me it's not there. You know how confused is it for kids? Because I see here and you say it's not there. So what it does happen is either this child will eventually become like me, will not share, or thinking what I see is wrong. Something's wrong with me, because that's how kids' mentality is, right? So we would learn to hide ourselves or what we know, or they will become confused. So what happened is they will start to question every move they made, every decision they made, or things like that, because they continue telling what you feel is not right, right? So what I'm saying is for the future that is, you know, coming, we're gonna get into this, you know, awareness generation. What we really want to train us and our kid is to be aware, right? Aware and also truthful to our feeling. So if your kids happen to see things things that you may or may not see, or sense things that you may or may not sense, you know, the best way to deal is, now I'm gonna use one thing as example, right? It's like, let's put that things into something that really happens. Like if your kids go to school and then either they get bullied, or they got, you know, they deal with some emotional event, or they come back home sad, what does the parent do, right? Parent will try to walk it through with them. So what exactly happened? Right, so we listen to the story, and then, you know, he say, she say, he say, she say, he did this, I did this. Eventually, somewhere along the storyline, we know what is caused that sadness. So we're able to, you know, work them through it, explain it to them, right? So that would be the same thing as I would say in the spiritual, that how you will cope with your kids, even though it's in the spiritual world. So the kids might say, oh, this ghost just keep bothering me, or this person just keep talking to me, right? You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing as, oh, what does it look like? What do they say? Why do they come to you, right? And then it come to a point you can, we already talked about 40-something episode, right? As I say, you can treat them like the real event. So what it does is you will come out with a way that you can handle them. You handle them just like you would handle any normal kids at school. You can tell them, well, if they keep bothering you at night, you should tell them to leave. They might come back later. Tell them they can come back later, right? Because you need some sleep. And if they keep bothering you, you can tell them to leave completely. Because what you really want to train the kids is they have to take control of their body, which I will explain why is it so important, I hope, in the future episode. Because if you don't give them have that power of their own body, right? Because we talk about it, this body is not designed for them. This body is designed for this person, this soul, this life. It exists for a reason, right? So if you don't give the kids that power, like you own your body, you can decide what you want to do, and you will not hand that power to any existence out there, which they don't have right to anyway. So once they have that power, right, then they would then able to set parameter. Like for me, I would be able to set parameter, like you stay there and talk to me. You don't come to me and bother my sleep, right? Or I will kick you out. Let them know how powerful the imagination is. Like they can actually keep spirits away, right? So anyway, those are the things that I would say. The very important things, really have the kids know they own their body. They have full control of the body. No spirits can make them do anything, right? Because that mentality will later on develop to something greater. Because if you let the kids so scared, they're so scared and things like that, they continue doing things for different spirits, eventually their voice might get so small and it might develop into possible schizophrenia too, because they would behave the person that they are not, because it all starts something very small, which parents tend to ignore it, right? When they start have that in voice, or they're afraid to share with parents, right? Then they start believing that that voice having control or power over them. And then when they hand that power to them, that's how you will later on split it into different personality or different character, or even speak different language. But anyway, I'll get into that later, but not today. So very important thing, if your kids is a psychic as me, I guess, encouraging them to talk about it, or encouraging them to let them know like they are no different. It's also part of the living, right? They can write down, or you can share with you, but the one thing very important, make them feel, right, they should have the power of their body, right? They will be in charge of their body, and hopefully slowly get that muscle. But as I say, as a parent, sometimes we just don't know. You can see the eyes. You don't know if they're telling truth or not truth, right? As my friends question me, it's very simple. All you have to do is look at their eyes. You'll be able to tell, right? When the kids do see something, you can see focus in their eyes, no matter where their eyes go. It's like when you are staring at something, even you put your hand like this, right? You can always catch that focus. When people are trying to make it up, right, you will see that losing that focus in their eyes. So really, if you want to focus, you want to catch if your kid is really seeing something or making it up, your eyes cannot hide. And as a parent, we have that intuition. We have that strong bond with our kids. We're able to see, right? So as I say, either you can catch they're lying or not lying. The way you handle it is still the same. You can quickly bring back, say, you know what, you own it, you should tell them to leave, right? But usually when kids are talking about it, they usually freaking out. Like when I was a kid, I was really scared, right? But I see they're there, but I'm very scared and I don't know what to do. But you would be able to tell through their eyes. You would know if someone is really there or something is really there that you simply see. In that case, sometimes I understand parents would get scared, right? Because now my house has something that I cannot see and I don't know what to do with it. Here, I'm going to give you a lot of tools you can use. You can actually do something about it. So the tool one, I always suggest you can use incense or aromatherapy, right? But choose the wood base. So not the plant, not the lavender, but choose the wood base. Now I'm going to tell you why. I did a lot of experiment and I start to realize when those kind of essence being burned or or being put in aerotherapy start to have that air smell in the air, what it does is it actually restores the energy of that nature. And that energy will then expand to every corner of your house and then push out the energy that should not belong here. So when you push, that is, give you a quick example. If you burn the lavender, right, you then restore the lavender into what lavender look like, But if you burn a sandalwood, for example, it then restore to like a tree. So if you visually see it, you will feel like you are being this huge tree everywhere in your house, and it just push everything out, right? The things that should not belong in here. Ghosts, for example, is such how do you call the vibration, the way their vibration works, it makes those energy easy to push them out, right? So that's one thing I suggest. You can always burn some incense or aromatherapy, right? Second thing I would suggest is, remember before we talk about whoever is in charge of the house, usually the parents in the house have decided how the energy will go in this house, right? So here, you being a mom and you don't know, what you see and who's there and things like that, but you try really hard to protect your kids. This is a thing you can do with the power of thought. The power of thought starts with imagination. Just really, what you really do is take a deep breath, calm yourself. Don't ever let that fear, emotion that bothers you, right? Because as I say, they are no different from us. But what you're going to do is you're going to clean like garbage out of this house. When you know a mouse, you will catch that mouse and you grab it, do whatever you have to do with it. So your kids is not being bothered by it, right? The same intention. That's the same intention you will do. So what you do is you close your eyes, take a deep breath, calm your energy, and then just imagining there is a mouse in your house you're going to catch. So what you do is you just have I don't know if you guys see the movie, and then, when you see a movie, you see a radar going through your house, right? Just start from the base of your house and slowly accelerate all the way up. Just have a clean up. Just imagine you doing vacuum. You're vacuuming whatever that is not belonging to this house. So vacuuming it out, it doesn't belong it. And, the most important thing that ownership that you have, your kids may not have, it's called whoever it is, get out of my house, right? Because I own this place, and then you have no right to step foot in that. Once you get parents who start doing that, like take on the ownership, right? You also give an example to your kids how she can be in charge of taking the ownership of her body too, of her room, or anything like that. So anyway, those are the two quick things. Oh, another thing I always say to my follower, like turn on the fan. Seriously, what ghost really is. They are the vibration, right? Imagining we are all created by different atoms, and then we combine together and we create vibration, and then that decided you have a solid body or not, right? So imagining if you have a smoke there, right? what do? You turn on fan, quickly they are gone. So imagining that, right? So really, if you want to clean it up, for me, you have so many ways to clean it up. So I give you 3, pick one, whatever you can work. But really, if you have the kids who is sensitive, which is gonna happen quite often now, so newer generation, younger generation, whatever you call them, it's gonna happen way more often now. Usually kids will be sensitive between 3 to 5 because their soul and their body hasn't come, fully click yet. So they might be way more sensitive. Some kids might be very sensitive, but then all of a sudden after 3 years old, 5-year-old, they don't see it anymore. There's a reason why, because their soul and their body is not fully clicked yet, right? So anyway, so they might be sensitive or they might continue to be sensitive. It depends on how the environment is. But those are the tools for the parent if you happen to not see what they see or things like, or feel what they feel. Those are the things you can use it as a tool. Walk it through, encourage you to talk, listen to it like, they are telling you what happened at the school today. And then usually along the way, you can help them figure out a solution. But do remember, they are in charge of their body. Those are the things that you do want to give your kids if your kids happen to be a psychic. Those are very good foundation. You want to be able to give it to them because later on they can really use those skills. So anyway, let's wrap this up. It's Friday. I hope everybody have a great weekend. And again, if you like what I'm doing, join me live on Periscope or go to my Facebook or subscribe my YouTube channel or even go to my website, ruowen.com. And I guess till then, I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.